The Ford Explorer is a fantastic mid-size crossover with third row seating, but they have never been truly amazing off-road. They are fantastic on-road, especially this ST model with its sport-tuned suspension, 400 horsepower, aggressive driving dynamics, but mostly they're designed for maybe light off-roading, like light, dirt and gravel roads, things like that. You're not going to go rock crawling. You're not going to take these things deep into the woods in most cases. But for 2026, Ford has launched a Tremor version of the Explorer, which can go places that you probably wouldn't want to go in these Explorers over here. Hi, this is Joe from Way Scarff Ford Isuzu, and today we're going to talk about this 2026 Ford Explorer Tremor. Let's dive in. At a glance, you can see this thing has rugged looks versus the more standard Explorers. You have an inch higher ride height. You have extra underbody protection. You have a torsion limited slip differential. You get a suspension, anti-roll bars, shocks that are all calibrated for better off-road driving. And of course, you have more aggressive off-road inspired looks. All the way from its beginning in the early 90s, the Explorer has never had a reputation as an amazing off-road vehicle, even back in the day when it was built on body and frame truck-based architecture. But the Explorer has evolved a lot over the years. It's not built on a truck frame like these Rangers over here or its bigger brother, the F-150. It's built on unibody architecture like its siblings, the Bronco Sports and the Mavericks. It's built a lot more like a car. You could say it's almost like a glorified minivan, but that's pretty cruel because it's a lot nicer than a minivan. But most crossover these days, they're built on unibody car-based architecture because they're lighter, they're more efficient, they use less gas, they have more car-like driving dynamics, and crossover SUVs are the most popular thing these days. Ford really only makes, the only car it makes these days is the Mustang. And even their electric Mustang is a crossover SUV because people don't buy cars and sedans, unfortunately, really that much anymore. More than anything else, consumers are buying crossover SUVs, small compact four-door pickup trucks, mid-sized pickup trucks, things like that. So that's what most manufacturers focus on. And if you have a growing family, the three-row Explorer in its mid-size category is an absolute sweet spot. The Tremor is one of the more range-topping trim levels on the Explorer Grade Walk. We saw a similar off-road version a few years back called the Timberline, which the Tremor does inherit some of the off-road gear and upgrades that we saw in the Timberline. For the 2025 model year, we didn't see a Timberline in the Explorer product line, but for 2025, we saw a lot of upgrades on the Explorer. A redesigned dashboard, a new infotainment system. So for 2026, the off-road version has returned with the Tremor name. Ford applies a Tremor treatment to a lot of off-road versions of its trucks and SUVs, like the Maverick, the F-150, and the Ranger. We can see on the rear, we have a nice contrasting colors. The Timberline has these unique accents and Tremor badging. We can also see a unique wheel and tire package, and it's pretty cool. We have this special color right here to mark where the valve stem is in case you need to air up or air down for the trails. It's easy to locate. Then we also have a more aggressive tire on this as well. And when we're thinking about off-road pros, tires aren't always the thing that people think about, but tires are really the most important thing. It's the only part of the vehicle that is touching the ground, and the types of tread you have on your tires can significantly make a difference in on-road situations. It can make the difference of being stuck or being an off-road machine. We've seen that applied in many times in real-life scenarios. A good example is a Tesla Cybertruck. The Cybertruck was touted as an amazing off-road vehicle, but when it came out, we saw all these Cybertrucks getting stuck. Well, the reason why they were getting stuck is because the Cybertrucks were available with two sets of tires. They had a more conventional on-road tire, which was quieter. It allowed the vehicle to get much better range because, most people who buy Cybertrucks, most people who buy any trucks or SUVs, really, most of the time they're on road. But we saw a lot of those Cybertrucks getting stuck in the snow, and people were kind of making fun of them, but it was the tires. If you have tires that are designed to be on the road and to, be quiet and to be fuel efficient, you're going to have to make a compromise, and that's a big compromise of off-road prowess. Off-road tires are going to not be as smooth and fuel efficient as on-road tires. They're going to be a little bit louder, But if it matters for you to not get stuck off-road and being able to go to some cool places, this is the gear you need to get it done. We can also see we have a little bit more pizzazz going on in the front with the Timberline. We have a unique front fascia with contrasting colors versus this active trim level of the Explorer, the entry-level one. You can see it's a lot more basic, a lot more vanilla looking. This is a lot more exciting. We even have these cool tow hooks. There are 2 power plants available on the Timberline. The base one is a 4-cylinder that's turbocharged that makes 300 horsepower. That's a great engine. We can find that engine in the Ranger. We can find it in the Mustang. We can find it in the Bronco. But you can also get a larger V6. This one actually has a larger V6 pumping out 400 horsepower. In fact, it's the same V6 that you get in the Explorer ST. With 400 horsepower, this Explorer is really quick. 400 horsepower is a lot of power for any vehicle, let alone a 3-row family SUV. I remember when the Dodge Viper first came out, and that had a 400 horsepower V10, and people were like, their minds were blown. It was like, wow, 400 horsepower is an insane amount of power. And we're talking about an exotic, high performance car, but your regular family SUV that you put your kids on, making 400 horsepower, that is crazy. And this thing is really quick. This thing is almost like a sleeper sports car. Maybe it can't go around corners like a sports car. It can certainly accelerate like one. The mid-size category is such a sweet spot for crossover for SUVs, where compacts are just generally too small for growing families, and where full-size ones like the Expedition, as nice and big as it is, it's just too much for some people, too big. This has a nice premium interior. We can see that cool contrast stitching on the inside. We can see the Tremor badging. You have nice, functional, spacious third-row seating, where even someone like me who's 6'2" wouldn't be too uncomfortable back there. But where I'm really comfortable is in the second row. I got lots of space back here. The rear seats recline. I got heated rear seats. I got climate control. It's cold out today. I'm gonna get some nice warm air. I got a vent right here, blowing nice warm air on me. We have this big pano roof line, lots of natural light inside. Us here in the Pacific Northwest, we have to deal with these overcast, dreary days. But having this glass roof panel allows more ambient light, and it just makes it feel a little bit brighter and happier, elevating your mood. We need to take all the sunlight we can get here in the Pacific Northwest, and having this big glass roof panel certainly helps. And you have a power sunshade to dim things down if it gets too bright out. Dim indeed. Yeah, if you didn't have this glass roof panel, look how dark and dreary it'd be. This is downright depressing. Much better. And one of the most comfortable places to sit is in the front seat. Very comfortable and supportive perforated seats that are trimmed in leather and the suede cloth. 2025, we saw a redesigned dashboard, really nice soft touch materials. We have a wireless charging pad right there. Rotary dial to operate the 10-speed automatic transmission. Very straightforward. We also, for 2025, got a new, larger infotainment screen featuring one of the latest versions of Ford's Sync infotainment system, considered one of the best in the business. And this one is powered by Google, which is fantastic. Car companies are great at the mechanical bits, but we find car companies aren't great tech companies. So let the tech companies, who's a better tech company than Google, make the infotainment software. And Google has a fantastic operating system for car infotainment systems that we can see in a lot of different makes and models, and it is fantastic. The car industry, I can tell you, being in the car business, there are a lot of horrible infotainment systems, and thank God that Google has finally entered into the business, because it's going to greatly improve people's functionality, features, and usability. Nice big parking cameras, great for situational awareness. You have a nice overhead camera with the B and C pillars and headrests. Visibility can be kind of tough. This is a nice looking car. You don't want to scuff up the bumpers in the parking lot, bump into people, scrape things. No excuse with these fantastic parking aids. We have heated and ventilated front seats, heated steering wheel as well, and we have the heated second row seats. Nice thick rimmed leather wrapped contoured steering wheel, feels wonderful in your hands. Completely digital gauge cluster. This one has the upgraded B&O audio system. We have this rotary dial right here, and that's your drive mode selector. So that will calibrate this Explorer for different driving. We have tow and haul mode. We have sport mode. And depending on which drive mode you have selected, the style of the gauge cluster might look a little bit different. We have eco mode. We have normal mode. We have wet and icy snowy roads. We have off-road mode. We can see here that it shut off the traction control system, which is preferable in off-road situations. Well, thank you for joining me on this walk-around video of this 2026 Ford Explorer Tremor, one fantastic midsize 3.0 crossover with some great off-road prowess. You probably wouldn't take this rock crawling like a Sasquatch Bronco, but overlanding, getting to your favorite fishing, hunting, camping spot, you and your family, you and your friends can get there in complete comfort and in style in this amazing Explorer Tremor. We're Way Scarff Ford Isuzu. We've been in business since 1922, 103 years as of filming this video, believe it or not. We sell new Fords, new Isuzus, and a very wide variety of pre-owned vehicles. I'll leave a link in the description for our current Explorer inventory. We always have a great selection. Maybe if you don't need off-road prowess, you can look at some other versions of the Explorer. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.